Alright, let's get this shiz over with. Hello everyone, and welcome to Pandaren Update. Number 2. Bet you didn't see that one coming. But, before we get to all of that nonsense, let's review what I got for Christmas, because that's totally a normal thing that we do in this day and age. First is the obvious, with some trimmer that I can look weird and have everyone look at me and think, wow, that's Panda, and I would look at them and I would just say, yes. Second, I got some video games that I actually really like and are very fun. I mean, who doesn't want to be Mario every second of their more merciless life? Third, I got this D&D styled Rick and Morty game, which is perfect, so now I can forever say that I'm Mr. Meeseeks and that you have to look at me and do the Rick dance at the same time, because, you know, I'm pretty much that much of a pain. And finally, we've upgraded the PC to have some more RAM, because I'm sure that's going to be good for the content we're making. I mean, let's be fair. But anyway, with that aside, let's get to the actual point of the video. I think it's only right to start off on a happy note, at least, by saying thank you guys for all the support on the trailers from last month. I never expected them to blow up this much and have almost like 60 views or like 50 views or something ridiculous. It looks like really small numbers considering how small the channel is, but considering that we haven't actually had a 50 view video in, you know, a very long time, because gee, I wonder why, it just means a lot to me, so thank you all so much for that. And speaking of the trailers, let's talk about how to find out more about each series in depth a little bit more, a bit more detail as to what you're going to see. And for that, I need to explain about Let's Talk. For those who don't know what Let's Talk is, Let's Talk was introduced... Well, it wasn't really introduced, it was more just kind of brought on because, you know, I don't explain things. But Let's Talk was brought in when Mod Gear ended in its first season. As I say first season because the second one just got announced. But basically, Let's Talk is going to have two different versions going into the new year. And that's going to be Let's Talk before the show and Let's Talk after the show. Where if you're watching Let's Talk before the show, you'll get to not experience really, but you'll get to know a little bit more about each series in depth, know, okay, this is what to expect, this is when this is going to be uploaded, this is the kind of content to expect from this kind of series, a little bit more in depth. And Let's Talk after the show is basically what's going to happen. It'll be like a Let's Talk video similar to that of Mod Gear Season 1. It'll be at the end of the series to explain the development process behind that season, where the show's going later down the line, stuff like that. And you'll see one for EXE Files Reboot and Panda's Lost Episodes and Minecraft and, of course, Mod Gear Season 2. You'll see all of them. They will be airing over the course of this week when this video goes live, and the next week after this episode, that being like the 6th, the 8th, and the 10th, more likely, you'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You'll see all that. The next thing I want to talk about is more on the lines of just the uploads in general. And I'm not going to say exactly when the series are going to be uploaded, because you'll find those out in Let's Talk. But the baseline you'll need to know is that most series, like Monday and Friday, as I was doing in the summer, Monday and Friday will probably stay the same. With the exception of Wednesday, that'll be for another series. You'll see what it is. The only big difference is that instead of uploading at 12 p.m. Pacific time, I'm instead going to increase that to 1 p.m. Pacific time. And the reasoning is just for a few reasons. The reason why it's not 12 is because since school and everything's all complicated and whatnot, 12 o'clock isn't really a good time. And I say that in quotes because it is sort of a good time, but it isn't really. It depends on the day. And I don't want to miss an upload or something ridiculous, so that's why I'm extending it to 1. The other reason is I may need some extra time to get videos ready, since, you know, I do like some sleep, am I right? So that's basically just the reason why it's extended to 1. A, so I can have a little bit more time with some videos if and when it's needed, and B, so I don't have to stress and to get stuff up early when I don't, you know, need to get stuff up early, or if it's already done or something like that. The next big thing is the channel's social media, because I know this channel does have social media related outlets outside of YouTube. And the biggest thing that's, you know, of that is going to be Twitter, because the channel does have a Twitter page. Shocking, I know, how no one actually knows that there's a Twitter page, but there actually is a Twitter page, let me tell you. So channel does have a Twitter page, and I'll say it now, in the trailers you probably saw that there was a Twitter page, link and everything all like that, and that's mostly to just keep development on shows like Mod Gear Season 2 and EXE Files Reboot, those kind of things. And you'll definitely be able to get a little bit more on their development over there, and you'll also get to, I'm just dying over here actually, as you can see. You'll definitely get to see, like, announcements for, like, when videos are going up, just random ballsy crap, because, you know, we people on the internet are like that. So therefore, if you just want to, like, hang out over on Twitter and stuff, see posts, see when new videos are coming out, see development on certain series and whatnot, and just kind of see what videos, like, early access, see, okay, this is coming, here's, like, a hype reveal or something, even though there probably won't be a hype reveal, because I'm not that much of an idiotic person, then go follow Twitter, because I'm more active on Twitter normally than I am on the YouTube side. It doesn't mean I'm reading comments, because I am reading the comments, but I'm just more active on Twitter, because that's just my own personal preference. But with that aside, the very last thing I want to talk about is probably the most sad part of this update video. Yeah, no, it's gonna get really sad. Just watch. I'm gonna have people crying, and then they're gonna be like, "Why are you crying?" And it's like, "Why are you crying at this poor man's video?" And then it's just like, "Are you serious?" Dying again. And that thing is discontinued content. As I said in the channel update that I posted in December, that any of the trailers that were appearing in December was the content that was going to be premiering this year, in 2020. And you'll probably notice that there is a lot of series I used to do that aren't on that list. The only things that included Minecraft was making its return, because, you know, obviously, EXE Files Reboot, that sort of stems from something. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm pretty sure people will know what it is. You'll know a little bit more about what that is when Let's Talk before the show makes its way in. You'll probably hear soon, actually. And then, of course, Mod Gear's making its way back, and Panda's Lost Episodes is, well, it's Lost Episodes. I mean, what else am I supposed to say? But as far as discontinued content goes, there is a lot of content that's just simply disappearing. But I say disappearing in quotes, because, again, this is only for this year. So Minecraft content might not be around in 2021, for example. That's if the channel, you know, is still existing at that point. Death again. But things like Universe Sandbox and most likely the World of Warcraft related content that I used to do, say like 2018 or in the summer of 2019, for example, Universe Sandbox especially is leaving the channel, maybe entirely, for like forever, maybe. And that's just because there isn't really a lot I can do in the game at the time, since nothing much has changed. There isn't really anything else to do extra or new to discover. So, and because I've just grown out of it, and the same thing goes with WoW. I'm not necessarily growing out of WoW, but because the only thing I do in WoW is Mythic Plus, then it just gets really boring really, really fast. Death again. But as far as, like, any new content coming, most likely any new content coming will be announced in the form of trailers. And I personally just prefer trailers more, because that's just me. I just prefer announcing stuff in trailers. That doesn't mean there's going to be, like, specials for, like, holidays and stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be specials for holidays and stuff, because, you know, holidays. One of the big things I wanted to cover especially was multiplayer-based content, because I said that multiplayer-based content, well, it was coming, maybe, and I'll definitely say that there is maybe some parts of some of the series in this year of the channel that are going to require some multiplayer-based related stuff, but it's not going to be this channel's strong point. This channel's mostly going to involve single-player-based content, and I hate to say it, but if you're not someone who enjoys single-player-based content as a main strong point for something, then this probably isn't the place for you. I hate to say it. But aside from all the things I've talked about, which covers, you know, the Christmas gifts, because obviously we gotta nail that, because, you know, every YouTuber ever in the world, am I right? I also said to thank everyone for all the support for the trailers, because my god. I talked about Let's Talk before the show and after the show, which is basically just like explaining, before the show, just to recap, was more about explaining what you can expect from these shows going into them when they launch, stuff like that, get an accurate representation of, say, release dates for stuff like EXE Files Reboot, And after the show is just the stuff to explain after the show, where that series is going, if it's getting a second season, stuff like that. Death again. I also talked about the new upload schedule, how the uploads are going to stay relatively the same, except I'm uploading at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time versus 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And I also mentioned, the channel's social media, that being Twitter, because I'm only going to use Twitter. Screw you, Snapchat and Instagram nerds. I'm sorry. And I also covered some discontinued content that just isn't going to be coming to the channel anytime soon, or maybe it's just dormant for this year. It might come back later down the line. Do a reminder that discontinued, in my perspective, doesn't necessarily mean that series is dead. That's not saying that WoW videos in Universe Sandbox, and another one I was going to add on there was things like Left 4 Dead, Dirt 3, Sonic stuff, those kind of things that I used to do either through the course of this channel's life or more recently. It's not to say that they're necessarily dead, it's just to say that they're not getting made this year. So that's not to say that if the channel's still around, which I don't know if it's going to be, and say to 2021, 2022, something like that, that's not to say that they're dead. They'll probably come back eventually. It's just gonna take a while to get them back eventually, because I can't have like 17 series running at once, because then it would just be a minefield. I mean, let's be honest. But anyway, that's going to basically wrap up this little Pandaren update to explain, here's stuff you guys want to know going into the new year. Let's Talk before the shows for all of the series mentioned in December, which includes Minecraft-based content, Mod Gear Season 2, Panda's Lost Episodes, and EXE Files Reboot. You'll all see Let's Talk before the show appearing for each series over the course of the next maybe week or two, with those being airing on January 3rd, 6th, 8th, and 10th. So make sure, you check your local instincts. Why do I sound like one of those really weird cable guys? But just make sure that you're there. You can get a brief idea of what kind of stuff you'll be expecting from each series, because honestly, they're really fun. I want to make this year, an actually good year, a year where I'm on YouTube for one straight year, a whole year, because last year for 2019 I wasn't. 2018 I was only on for about half the year, so that my last full year I've been on YouTube was 2017, so let's make it enjoyable, I guess you could say. But anyway, that's going to conclude the update video. Let's celebrate and let's start this new year off strong. With that, I am PandaPowerSauce, and I will be talking to you all later. Stay saucy. Bye-bye.